Welcome to Regent Park TV. I'm Kedar. Today we bring you an important update from the Regent Park Safety Network's recent special meeting held on December the 4th, 2024 via Zoom. At this urgent meeting, Toronto Police Service's neighborhood community officers Farzad, Ghotbi, and Miercea Biga, and Sergeant Jeremy Boyko discussed a recent carjacking and shooting event and other arrests and significant incidents in the Regent Park community. The virtual meeting was chaired by Regent Park Safety Network co-chairs Leonard Swartz and Hajia Umul. Over 62 community members joined, marking a historic number of participants for the safety network. Residents actively participated, voicing their concerns and asking questions. Officers were on hand to address these concerns and provide clarity on safety measures moving forward. Now let's take a closer look at the meeting and hear directly from those working to address safety in the Regent Park community.
Welcome, everybody. Thank you for coming. This has been like a very short notice, but yet people are worried and concerned enough. We have over 50 people right now, and it's adding up by the minute. Thank you for coming. Thank you, the officers and all the community members.
And I agree with Hajia. Thank you very much to everyone who's participating tonight on the short notice. Normally, the RPSN, that is the Regent Park Safety Network, does not typically hold meetings in December, and we take the summer months, July and August, off as well. But Hajia and I are obviously residents of Regent Park. Not obviously, but we are residents of Regent Park, and we are open 24/7, 365 days of the year to listen to concerns of residents of our community. And that's why we're holding the meeting tonight. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome from Toronto Police Service 51 Division. We have 3 members of the force who will explain what has happened over the last week or so with respect to the carjacking and a number of other issues in Regent Park. So please welcome Sergeant Jeremy Boyko and our NCOs, our neighborhood community officers, Farzad, Ghotbi, and Miercea Biga. And I'll pass the floor to them now. Thank you.
You want me to start? Yes. Oh, okay. So why don't we start with the reason that we're here in the first place? There was that incident involving the carjackings. So let me start by saying that this is not something where Regent Park was a target of anything. This just is coincidental that this occurred, that this part of this incident occurred in Regent Park. I can't get into all the details, but I can tell you that this event started up on the 401. There was some carjackings that took place up there. The accused person ended up in Regent Park and then made several attempts to carjack other cars. In the process, one person was shot. There's one victim that was suffered a gunshot wound. That person is not a resident of Regent Park. It was just passing through. He eventually did get somebody's car and then proceeded on and was arrested further away down the Lakeshore and Carlisle areas. So I can understand why the community would be concerned about this, but what I can tell you is that this is I've never seen something like this before in my 24 years in the job. This is a very unusual event, and more specifically, it's an event that is only peripherally involves Regent Park. Regent Park just happened to be one of the places where he ended up, so it's not something where there should be any additional community concerns. Also, the person is in custody now, and I don't see any chance of him getting bail or getting out of jail anytime soon. Does anybody have any questions about that before we move on to any of the other events you would like to discuss?
Any thoughts on the luxury car dealerships in the region?
Sorry, any thoughts on them?
Yeah, I mean, like how it could be linked here, just given that, there obviously there's been incidents there before. Is there any way he was going for those kind of
No.
locations?
This was a random one-off. He wasn't targeting specific cars. This was I can only describe it as a crime spree with no purpose that I can see. I almost feel like he just wanted to get caught, quite honestly, because there was no financial gain, personal gain of any kind in this. He wasn't targeting, like I said, he was just targeting whatever car he could get, and then he would take that car, drive it for a bit, and then end up, for whatever reason, having to take another car. So he did that multiple times during this spree. But like I said, this is unrelated to any of the high-end vehicle thefts.
Appreciate that. Thanks.
Was Adonis?
Yeah, hi. I have a totally separate incident or concern. I parked my car in the school parking lot at Nelson Mandela, and someone broke into my car. I happened to have unfortunately, I wasn't thinking, I left my backpack in there, and they took my backpack, which had an extra pair of keys for my car. And also I had some money stolen. I had a wallet in there, and they used my bank card. I have records of, they spent about $200 before I canceled it, but they spent it all in Regent Park, like Rabba, the cannabis store. And I'm just wondering, does it make sense of even reporting it or anything like it?
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah, absolutely. Report that. If for no other reason, then have you already notified your bank?
Yeah. I canceled everything. A little, unfortunately, the day it was stolen, they spent my card, but otherwise I canceled it and limited anything else but they have my car keys. So I'm really concerned about whether I should park there again. I'm trying to change my car keys right now, but yeah, essentially.
Well, if they didn't steal your car that night, I'm guessing that your car was not the target. And I mean, it doesn't hurt to change the car keys out, but we get a lot of thefts from vehicles. It definitely helps to report it because it helps us know when and where these crimes are happening. As far as whether you should park there again, I mean, vehicle thefts can happen anywhere, anytime. Or sorry, theft from vehicle, this type of thing. It happens all the time. We do our best to prevent it when we can, but I mean, it's just people need money, and one of the easiest ways is just to steal from cars. So my recommendation going forward is to just not have any valuables in the car. But yeah, definitely report it. Like I said, those statistics, they may not seem important to you as just a one-off thing, but the more information we have about when and where they're happening, the more that we can direct our resources. We have, as I'm sure you already know, we have a dedicated Regent Park car that is constantly 24/7. We have a car in Regent Park. If we know where thefts from vehicles are happening, it helps to have those officers know that, and that way they can add that to part of their patrols, and then maybe prevent future thefts from there.
Just a quick follow-up. Would a video, in terms of like they went to stores, they used a particular card that belonged to the organization. Would they be able to get videos from that car? It happened about 2 weeks ago.
So yeah, I was gonna just add up to what the sergeant was saying. First of all, Toronto Police just launched a campaign, during the holidays. It's called Lock It or Lose It. Actually, it's focused on exactly this kind of incidents, encouraging people obviously to remove every object of valuable from the cars and then lock the vehicles. In terms of, it's also a piece of education, and shows how important timing is in these kind of investigations. Nelson Mandela, I know they have video cameras. So they might have cameras that are pointing to it. Like, so if you report right away, we can gather the video from the school, as well as video from all the places where the cards were used. Usually these banks and convenience stores, they have video, and they're pretty good in providing that video to us. And that facilitates us to identify the perpetrator and then bring them before the courts, right? Because otherwise, if the time lapse is too long, usually these videos only last for a couple weeks or even less. And then if we don't have the video available, it'll be almost impossible to. And also fingerprints, if you touch the car and then it was a little bit of time lapse, then we won't be able to get any kind of evidence.
Okay. And I reported to 51 Division or?
You can call, you can try reporting it online. I think that from vehicle, they might take that online. If not, just go to the Toronto Police website and see. It's probably the easiest way to do it because you can do it from the comfort of your own home. Alternatively, I would call a non-emergency number, 416-2222. 416.
No, thank you.
808-2222. That's the non-emergency line, and then someone will be able to take it over the phone typically for something like this. Given that it's been 2 weeks and they're not going to be able to do any fingerprints or anything like that, that would be the best chance. But check online first.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
Okay, thank you, Adonis, for that. Sarah J.
Yes.
Yeah, hi. You said that I'm back to the carjacking yesterday or a couple days ago, and you said that the guys in jail won't be getting out anytime soon. How do you know that? Has he been charged? Has he been given a sentence that's 50 years?
I'm going based on my experience. He's been charged with very serious offenses, including attempted murder. And given his criminal history, it would be very unlikely that he would get bail.
He won't get bail, but
I can't promise, I can't guarantee that, but I'm saying, given the seriousness of the charges and his criminal history, I would consider it very unlikely that he would get bail.
Well, what I'm wondering about how long would his sentence be?
For something like this, I don't know, but
Yeah, it's a legal
it would
question.
be very long. It's several years I'd be looking at.
Okay, thank you.
Just to have an idea, usually when you have a theft, it's one charge, right? When you have an assault and theft, you have two charges. This person that was arrested had 28 charges for this one incident. And they're all weapons and car robbery, so violent offenses. So that's based on that, our estimation is he's going to get out.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, officer. Who's next? Okay, there is a question in the chat. Somebody's asking, there was a shooting incident earlier in the summer. Who's asking for that? Who's asking for that question? Earlier shooting this summer.
Yeah, that's me. I'm not trying to be off topic, but on the topic of gunshots, there was one in the neighborhood earlier in the summer. So I'm just wondering, what was that? Because we
updated the members of the community during that following safety network. However, for whoever was not present, that was a shooting that involved one of the youth from the neighborhood. He was arrested. He's still in jail. He was not released on bail, and there were two other people that the shots were directed to, and they were in possession of weapons at the time, and they've been arrested also. So
understood. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Whose name? Name?
Yeah, sorry, we were just trying to get this unmuted. I was one of the residents that actually happened to witness this event, and I got a video at the time. I found it very difficult for an avenue for me in order to share that type of information. So I actually went down, I messaged with the police that night. I got the name of an officer called Paul, I can't remember his second name. So I shared the video with him, but the only way I could share the video with him was through WeTransfer. Okay. Is there like a designated area from the Toronto Police Service where members of the public can give evidence or upload videos or anything that might help in a case like this?
Typically, it will depend on the investigator. I would suggest if you have video, contact the division and speak to the investigator involved, and they will give you directions. There's WeTransfer, but we have other methods that we use, but typically we will use WeTransfer. If it's a case where someone doesn't know how to use WeTransfer or there's some other kind of technical issue, we have other ways of getting that, obtaining that from you. But the key is to just first make contact with the investigator, let them know you have the video, and then we will make whatever arrangements are necessary to get that. That's a great question. I appreciate that.
Perfect. Thank you, guys.
Thank
I
you.
think Marlene had her hand up. I don't know if she still has a question.
Hey,
Marlene?
Marlene.
Yeah, hi. I was actually going to take my hand down. I was wondering how seriously injured the victim was. Is he okay?
Non-life-threatening injuries, like he was treated in the hospital, non-life-threatening.
He's released. Okay, good. Thank you.
There's no other questions about the shooting. I just want to bring up another topic, and it's related to Regent Park. I don't know if you guys remember, we told you on the last safety meeting that in addition to the 24-hour vehicle that we have, a police car that we have in Regent Park, 24/7, two-man car. In addition to that, for the last month, we also had a callback for the days of Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So each weekend, we had additionally 6 officers and a supervisor in the priority neighborhoods in Regent Park, in 51 Division, which is Regent Park, St. Jamestown, Moss Park, and Waterfront. Just to show how important these callbacks are, last Friday, there was an arrest that these officers were able to make, and along with other officers from 51 Division. It was a huge operation where they stopped a limo. It was a regular traffic stop. It was in the area of Dundas and Ontario, going eastbound towards Regent Park. And the officers started investigating the driver, opened liquor in the car, which obviously gave them more grounds to investigate. The first person that comes out of the vehicle has a gun on him. Then everybody gets arrested. They further find 3 more guns in the limo. So there are 4 handguns, semi-automatic handguns in that limo. All of them fully loaded with bullets on the chamber. And I can tell you, there were 12 people arrested, and they're all of the age of between 14 and 21 years old. Majority are from Regent Park. There are a few others from other areas in 51 Division, 1 from East York and a couple from Scarborough. But this is even more disturbing than the random shooting that happened, which could have happened anywhere in the city. When you have someone for whatever reason going off like this, it just happened to be in Regent Park. But this is more concerning when we have youths from the neighborhood, having guns on them at this. And imagine, this is just one traffic stop. How many other cars are going by that we don't have grounds to stop and investigate, and they might have weapons on them. But all 12 were arrested. Charges were laid against them, most due to the age, being youth. They were released on several conditions. But, this goes to show how important it is to have extra presence in the neighborhood.
And these callbacks, it's like overtime for officers, so it's just extra officers working in the area. They'll be doing that every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday night up until I think they throw all the way through December. And the purpose is really to address bail compliance and that kind of thing. So a lot of what their evening is comprised of is going around and checking on people who are on house arrest for charges, for serious charges and that kind of thing. But again, part of it is doing proactive policing, like, for example, like this, and they happen to get some guns out of it.
Wow. See, are the parents notified? The parents of the minors, especially, are they?
Well, we can't release youth. We have to release them to an adult, to a parent or a guardian. So especially because they're youth, the parents are very involved. They're well aware of what's going on.
Like, how did they even get the guns, or how did they even get to rent a limo? I mean, Yeah.
This is as good as mine. Yeah.
Suraya,
Yeah, I just have a quick question. Is the youth who are 14 on the gun, or they just all of them been rounded up because of the gun was found in the limo?
So there was one gun was found on the first person coming out of the limo. There were two more guns inside the limo, and then the fourth gun was on another person. Obviously we cannot give you the age or any description of the people that had the guns on them. But yes,
But the youth were involved. They weren't just helpless bystanders. That everybody in the car was involved in some degree. It's not that they were. It's not like the adults were being irresponsible with kids with them. It was a group of people. It just so happens by the split of the ages that some of them are under 18 and some are above, but they were all active participants in what was going on.
And apparently they were involved in shooting a rap video in Moss Park prior to the arrest.
Yeah, it's very disturbing, and some of the parents are not doing well mentally right now, who are the minors, the parents. Yeah, it's very sad, but in terms of the support for the parent, they don't have clue what the kids are doing usually when they leave the house. They don't know who has a gun, and when they associate, if they say they will be shooting music or whatever it is, that's how they proceed, not carrying the gun. Is there a support for the parents? Like,
Surya, we're always talking about our availability and our willingness, myself and Farzad, and I'm pretty sure the other officers on the other half, to get involved anytime there's a family or there's like an individual that needs help. Because we have the nature of our position is to actually spend time, like the people in the cars going to call. So we can definitely get involved as long as there's willingness and they want to accept our assistance and our help and our guidance.
Yeah, I will call you because I was away and I just came back and I got a message when I was away, and I told them when I will contact you when I come back, and I told them I will call them back, and I got a call yesterday and before yesterday as well, as soon as I landed. And I will I will call you anyway.
Yes, please.
Yeah, okay.
We please, like if you're speaking to any of the parents of the youth that are involved, please, if they want help, have them reach out to Farzad and Miercea. They're more than willing to help. As he said, we have a lot of programs within the Toronto Police, like gang exit strategies and that kind of thing. If they're looking for support, we can provide it. But it's going to have to come. They're going to have to reach out to us and let us know first. We don't always know what involvement the parents want to have or do have, and I totally understand as a parent myself. This has got to be a very difficult situation for them. We're willing to help any way we can, but we don't know unless they reach out.
thank you, Officer Noni. Hi, Noni.
Hi, this is Noni's partner. I just wanted to ask, I heard a statement just now. This is Omari Sankofa, by the way, that that all the occupants were basically, and correct me if I misheard you, that all the occupants were in the know. Is there actually evidence to suggest that all the occupants were in the know, that was the case?
So I didn't say they were in the know, but whatever was going on in that vehicle, they were, my understanding, and I'm not directly connected to the case, but my understanding is they were all active participants in what was happening in the vehicle. I'm not suggesting that they all, maybe they all, I don't know if they all, what they knew what was in there or not, but I know that everyone was there willingly and everyone there was an active participant from what I understand.
To my knowledge, in the community, it's said amongst the children that they were basically there just to be in the video. And so I think there's a concern.
I don't know. I'm only
sorry. One moment, officer. There's a concern about criminalizing these youths. Mm-hmm. We understand the seriousness of the crime, or the allegations, I should say. Mm-hmm. But I think it must be said, and this is something that's very important to me in these meetings and important to the community at large, that these youths are not criminalized, because the problem with the process is while there's parenting, while there's external factors such as the music and whatnot, the issue is that these youths, and we're seeing this the amount of policing that I saw in the past week in this neighborhood was crazy, even leading up to it. And it's very well known that there are quotas. This is a fact. Your fellow officers have actually come online and actually admitted this. And so my concern in this is if you have youths there that were innocently there, how do we protect them from not only being stigmatized, but also being pipelined?
I think you're talking about a lot of different issues, and I'll tell you one thing: there are not quotas. That is misinformation. There absolutely are not quotas. What I can tell you is we are as concerned as you about criminalizing youth, and officers would not arbitrarily lay charges against youth unless there was evidence to do so. As I said, I can't speak directly to this case because I am not one of the investigators involved, but I do know as a common practice, we are not in the habit of charging people who we do not believe are directly involved in the offense. That's all I can really say about this specific thing. I do appreciate what you're saying about not wanting to criminalize youth. I understand the pipeline that you're talking about, but in this case, all I can tell you is that whatever charges were laid based on the evidence that was from the scene. The scene involved numerous hours worth of body-worn camera footage. There's an abundance of evidence available, so it's not like they're just arbitrarily guessing what happened. I don't know if that helps allay some of your concerns, but I could tell you again, just to reiterate, it is not our desire to criminalize youth unnecessarily, because I know the stigma that has on them going forward.
So I do appreciate that, officer. I'm not talking about what has happened. I'm speaking of what can possibly be in place for these youths so that that doesn't happen. That's what I'm speaking of.
You're talking about like proactively, like avoiding these types of situations?
No. Subsequent to these arrests, what is in place between law enforcement and the community that can prevent these youths from being further stigmatized as, okay, they were involved in this, so now we're going to check up on this one and check up on this one and check up on this one until they start to feel like, I'm a criminal. I'm just breaking it down for you because this is what we've seen over decades now. So what can be done positively to between the relation between them? Because definitely if a youth is in this situation, was innocent, but is going to be thrown to the wolves, so to speak, in terms of the stigma subsequent to this, then that is what aids the criminalization. And we know this. Like, we all know this. I'm not speaking.
I think we know this is a little deceiving. Listen, we are the police. We investigate crime. When we catch somebody committing a crime, we charge them with an offense, and then the courts will determine whether or not they're guilty. But in the meantime, they are on. If the judge sees it suitable to put them on bail, they're on bail. And then it is again incumbent upon us to make sure that people are abiding by their bail, because as I'm sure you've noticed, the majority of criminality that's happening out there, the people that are arrested are already on bail. It's happening over and over again. So our job is to also check on them. Whether you feel that criminalizes them further, there's really nothing I can say about that. This is literally our job. We are the police. As much as we want to be a part of the community, we also have a duty to protect the community. And so if we've caught somebody committing an offense, we are going to check on them until we are told that they are no longer being charged with the offense, or they're in jail or whatnot. But what you're speaking about is alternative measures, and I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, that's kind of beyond the scope of what we are capable of doing. Like I said, we've got a job to do, and we do it as best we can and as fair as we can.
And to be fair to you, you're a person working a job. I understand this, but it must be said that this is part of the systemic problem right there. The fact that the police are separate from this situation. You have community officers. I know that there have been programs here, and that's why I'm asking specifically if there is special attention on what's happening with gun violence. If it is only from a punitive, if all our solutions are punitive, then this is going to continue.
Well, again, I can tell you a couple of things. I've been working in Regent Park for over 10 years, same with Farzad. And we've been working with you all this time. And we got to know the good, the bad, and the ugly. We got to know the families. We got to know the youth workers, the community workers, pretty much everybody that moves and lives in Regent Park. Our main concern is public safety, is the society's safety at large. That's why we were requested to have extra police presence. We were successful in suppressing further gun violence, which we saw in the other parts of the city, but not so much in Regent Park. And that's because we were present. If you're talking about police stigmatizing and stopping youth, I can tell you right now, we had millions of reasons to stop all the kids on scooters because they're illegal in the city. But we're not doing that because we don't want to come across as aggressive. We don't want to come across as targeting youth. But when you have 12 kids in one limo and you find 4 guns, and based on the experience that we had, all the shootings that happened in the past years, when so many young lives were lost due to gun violence, you can't just turn your head and look the other way and say, maybe these kids are innocent. We act based on the law. We bring them before the courts, and they all have lawyers, and we have judges that are looking over, and each individual is going to be questioned. And if they're not involved and they had no knowledge, believe me, the judge will be more than happy to let them go. But you can't just release people just because you think maybe they're innocent.
I agree with this 100%. So I want you to understand that I take this very serious. This is a huge problem, and there's a lot of different angles to this problem. But I also need you to understand you're also dealing with a community where many times somebody who looks like me can't even. I'm in my 50s, and you have to understand these youths. They're youths. I'm a grown man. I still have to look over my shoulder. Because we all know, and I'm very shocked and disgusted by the fact that the city has not made it an actual real thing that they're actually telling the public. These neighborhoods are so unsafe in the sense that what's happening with the youth is they're going from neighborhood to neighborhood that they're considering enemy territory and shooting innocent people. So in an environment like that, it speaks to what I said, is it perpetuates the problem, because what are these kids going to do to protect themselves? I'm not condoning them walking around with guns, but let's be real here. What are they going to do? What if you were in a community and you were being shot at, and many times when these incidents are happening, there's shootings, you all know very well that many times these go unanswered, unsolved. So they can't depend, you're talking about protecting the community. These kids are the community. So they don't feel safe. They can't go to festivals. When there was Afrofest in the summer, the amount of girls that went to that festival from this community was a lot. The boys, they couldn't go. Not because they were going to go down there to look for trouble, but because of the neighborhood they're from. They know if they go there, people are actually going to want to shoot them, even if they're just good kids and go to school every day. So this is what I'm speaking of. I'm tired of it being pushed under the rug as if, well, hey, listen, that's a parent's problem. We're past that point. We're past the point of this being a parental problem. This is a village problem, and there's no unified village. There's the police on one side, there's the community on the other side, and there's all that hangs in the balance in between, and the court system to adjudicate accordingly in a punitive way, not a rehabilitative way. So this is why my question is relevant.
You make some very interesting points, and I would actually love to discuss this further with you, but I feel like given that the time restrictions we're under, maybe we should move on with some other questions. It's not that I'm trying to deflect, it's just I feel like we're really getting into the philosophical weeds here with respect to society's issues, and I don't think we're going to solve them in the next 21 minutes. So if it's okay with you, maybe we could move on to see if there's any other questions about stuff that's happening in the neighborhood, and then if you'd like to reach out to us, we'd be happy to discuss some of this stuff with you.
Respectfully, you guys can go on, but respectfully, there's nothing philosophical about what I was saying. And I find that very disrespectful, because Ori was shot at 27 times. That's not philosophical.
Yeah, I want to also say something. I know we all have our angles, and we all said, we're just a piece of the puzzle. Like you said, this is a community problem. It's not just a parental problem. And as a part of the community, I'm not sure if you will. I'll give you an example. We have a family that the children are really suffering. And me and Miercea, we go there on a daily basis every day. We provided bicycles for them. We put them in our Pro Action program. We brought them food because they have lack of food, lack of nutrition. And because they're on house arrest, we have to check to make sure that they're following the conditions. But at the same time, we realize kids cannot be held inside the house 24/7. So we have programs that we have set for them to sort of break that house arrest. And that's something we do on a daily basis. And nobody sees that. And we're here to tell you that's what we do. So even after a person gets arrested, we're doing what we should be doing, which is not only checking on them to make sure that they're following the conditions, but we go above and beyond that. We don't just go and just check for conditions. We check to see how they're doing. How is their mental health? How is their well-being? Why are they not doing the things that they should be doing like any other family? And then we try to connect them. We connected them with different youth services. And we follow up with the youth services. We say, how is it going? This is something that we don't really have to do, but we do it because we care for these young people. And this is something you may have known, but a lot of us actually do this. That's why we have this neighborhood community officer program, because it allows us and gives us that time to go on an extra step forward, because at the end of the day, we want these kids to be set up for success, not for failure. So we are definitely doing our part. We're solution-based. We're here to adapt. If there's anything that you want us to do, I would suggest, we come have a meet and put it on paper, we brainstorm it, and we action it, instead of pointing fingers at each other and saying, you're not doing this, and I don't like that, and I don't like this language. That to me, I think we're beyond that as well. Let's talk action. Let's talk solution.
Sorry. Hello?
Thank you. Faridun?
Hi, sorry.
Hello?
Hi. I just wanted to ask, I guess, in terms of trends that are happening that you're seeing in the Regent Park area, are there any that sort of you might want to comment on or sort of advise? Like, is there more nowadays? You're seeing more car thefts, break-ins, assaults? Like, what do you see sort of trend-wise that's happening in the community?
I don't have any of the statistics in front of me. Do you guys know of anything specific that's happening?
Well, in Regent Park, we've been, like we said, because we have the extra presence, we haven't had those carjackings, and our violent crimes is not as high as any other neighborhoods in the city. But however, we do seem to see a lot of break and enters and a lot of overdoses that we have, unfortunately, and a lot of mental health issues. But as far as violent crimes, it's definitely not as bad as we used to experience, and it's more to do with people just struggling through life and doing a lot of thefts and a lot of mental illness issues that we have to deal with on a regular basis. But nothing of real true significance other than the ones we had just this past week. Well, knock on wood, we don't want to jinx it, but hopefully it'll continue that way.
Like, I understand Toronto's a big city, and these were kind of ad hoc kind of events, right? Like, they were randomized. It wasn't targeted, as you mentioned, to Regent Park specifically. So, I've lived here in this community for a while, and I've always felt pretty safe. Yes, there is a bit of homelessness and substance abuse that goes on. Also next door to Cabbagetown, the same thing sort of happens. So I was just more concerned just to sort of see, because you see in the news, like, a lot of car thefts happening in certain regions in GTA. So I was just curious to sort of see if there was any other issues in the community here in Regent Park. But other than that, you guys are doing a great job. And keep it up. I know it's kind of difficult to police something that who knows what's going to happen, right? But in all fairness, I've never had an issue with officers bothering me at all. Obviously, an officer that stops you, they have to have reason to stop you and ask you, right? So hopefully folks on the call here sort of understand the process. But other than that, awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks for doing. So I think next is that was Farzad.
Yeah, the next person is the Farzad.
Okay. Sorry. So yeah, I just thank you so much for all the info. I just have one question. It has a little bit to do with what the previous person said. So I lived in the community in Regent Park for like 4 years. Every year it got better in terms of like feeling safe. Everything was good. Like it's good. It's just that in the last couple months, maybe this is because of like mental health issues or just I've seen a lot of like maybe robberies here and there. Just like more often. To me as an adult, it's fine. I'm just kind of worried about like the safety of the kids around. Do you know if there's anything that is being done, or is there something in place for that, or is it just more like extra police presence? I'm not necessarily asking to see if there's something being done, but just kind of safety for the kids. Like, is it yeah, like that's basically it.
Just how far as mentioned earlier, Regent Park is doing actually very well compared to other neighborhoods we have in 51 Division. And unfortunately, we have to direct our resources where the problems are. However, Regent Park has more attention from us having the dedicated car and also the callbacks in the weekend to try to prevent, because police visibility usually deters criminal behavior. Plus having the neighborhood officers, on shift there. So, I think that's the most we can do at this time. And again, Regent Park's, I don't want to again jinx it, but looks really good on pretty much all indicators compared to other neighborhoods in our division alone.
Yeah, and also just we're coming to a time of the year where it's Christmas time and it's getting cold and people are. We usually tend to see that mental illness kind of spikes up, depression spikes up. Some of the substance abuse spikes up because it's that time where a lot of people would normally have families. They may not have their family with them. They're alone, so they're suffering, and sometimes they do some unthinkable things, and so the crimes maybe do tend to go up a little bit during this time in different various ways. But we have our dedicated patrol car that's here 24/7, along with us during the day. We did have an issue with encampment, which we addressed as well, because that encampment was right beside the playground where all the kids were, and we were on it, and we had to work with the city. It was challenging because obviously we wanted out of there as soon as possible because we didn't want it. We thought it was just way too close where the children were playing, but eventually it got addressed and it was moved, and we were hoping that it's going to stay that way. And our kids are the greatest assets that we have in the region, and we want to make sure they're well protected. And if there's anything that you see that is missing, you just let us know, and we'll deal with it.
Perfect. Thank you. That answers my question. Thank you.
Just to clarify more for everyone to understand about the dedicated car that we have in region and the neighborhood officers, that car is usually not even responding to calls that are happening in Regent Park. So we have regular primary response unit that are coming and dealing with a call in order to have that Regent Park car available and present in the neighborhood at all times.
Thank you. Dini, are you there, Dini?
Yep. Thank you.
And then Idonis. Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, what are your practices and your practice boundaries in regards to monitoring of social media?
That's tough. So it's a pretty broad question. We have, are you talking about like monitoring it for like criminal activity and that kind of thing?
Yeah, like there's all kinds of different ideas around how much access or how you monitor or if you can monitor. So I just wanted to know from you guys.
So are you talking about like us monitoring social media or parents monitoring social media?
Police.
Oh, police. So we have a unit called the Cyber Crimes Unit, and they're responsible for doing a lot of the social media monitoring. Anything from like protests that are going to happen to potential terrorist activity to just about anything. As we move forward, a lot more crime is happening on the internet, and so our cyber crimes unit is growing accordingly. So a lot of it happens there. So at a divisional level, we aren't necessarily monitoring social media, but we do certainly engage in it. For example, Farzad and Miercea a very active social media account, as well as many of our neighborhood officers. Their teams have social media accounts. But I mean, those are more just like for public service information to get stuff out to their communities. But it's not really a policing tool per se, as much as just a way to connect to the community.
The communication. But if a kid got arrested, do you monitor their social media?
It depends on what the arrest is for, but that might be part of the investigation. It's certainly becoming more and more that we will check what's been said over social media. A lot of times when there's shootings or when there's beefs between gangs, it's useful to find out what they're saying to each other and to monitor their social media. But I mean, that's beyond the scope of us as the neighborhood office. That's stuff that happens at the cyber crimes unit or field investigative officer. Like there are investigative purposes, but it really is a case by case. It really depends on what it is. We don't have a general monitoring situation where we're just constantly out there looking for like crime. Usually you have to have a reason to be looking for something.
And even when we monitor, I mean, as the sergeant was saying, our intelligence office about gang beef, it's more for us to know where to direct our resources. If there's like intense going back and forward or something related to a concert, then we know where to put more resources to prevent anything from happening, instead of looking to prosecute someone based on what was said on social media.
Yeah, that's a good point. A lot of it is just preventative, where we can put our resources. That's a good point.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. I forgot which one of you officer put say the callback number. Someone put
or non-emergency.
Yeah, the callback number you guys mentioned earlier. I forgot who mentioned it. Can you?
It was for to make a report. The report that the gentleman was talking about. 416-808-2222. That's the non-emergency police line, and that'll get you in touch with the dispatcher. But that's for anything that's non-emergency. For emergency, call 911.
Okay, thank you. Adonis, is that old hand or new hand? Adonis?
Yeah. Hi, everyone. My question is around the closure of safe injection sites and how that would potentially affect the community, and whether there is units. I heard about these community health, police health units, and but basically, how do the police will respond to issues like this? In terms of, we know that more people will be using on the streets more. So what is there a plan for this?
Actually, me and Miercea, funny enough, we were at the police college and we had this lecture. It was a training done by one of our units, and it's called the CORE unit. I forget what it stands for. Community
outreach
response. Community outreach response. So what happens is when these injection sites are being closed, our team from Toronto Police side, we have an officer and a nurse who will be dealing with the clients that may be on the streets, and they're going to be providing the services. As for the reason the police is just there is just for safety, is not to get them arrested or get them charged, even if they are actually maybe even wanted for, if it's a minor offense or I think anything that's minor, we're not going to be pursuing charges at all. We're not there to arrest them. That's not the goal at all. The goal is to provide them help, and that help is going to come with the nurse that we're going to have. So it'll be an officer and a nurse and they're all going to be on foot, so that they can deal with people right on the street level. So it'll be boots on the ground. And we're hoping that, we can, the city does have a plan for the people that are going to be on the street. I'm not sure exactly what that layout is. That they do have something in the works that they're building. From our side, it's just going to be that CORE unit where we're going to have an officer and a nurse just to provide these services for the people, the clients on the street.
And it's actually a Toronto public health led. Toronto Police is just a partner. in order to ensure a safe environment for the nurses and the public health workers to provide services to these individuals.
Yeah, thank you. I did mean in terms of health, responding to health concerns, not crime concerns regarding this. And is there any plan in terms of to see? We know that there are places in the city that are experiencing more of health and concerns around drug use and needle use and things like that, and whether the teams that you talked about, the core group, will they be operating more in those areas? And particularly, I feel that there certainly is a crisis more in the Moss Park, Sherburne, Dundas area, as you probably know, and is there and that spills outwards from there. Is there a plan where these teams will be operating more in areas such as that?
Yeah, so the core unit is only for the downtown Toronto for now. And, so everyone understands that they're called the injection sites. I can tell you, I'll leave a little secret out. Every single day we have several calls for overdoses at this injection site because people are buying their own drugs, street level drugs, and they're just going there in a safe environment to consume the drugs. But it doesn't mean the drugs are clean. These injection sites are not providing them with the actual drug. So that's why we have so many overdoses. But on top of that, we also have the mobile crisis response unit that has a nurse and a police officer. Each division has a team working 24/7, and they're all attending this type of calls as well.
Yeah, so depending, like I said, this is actually for the downtown area. For time being, I believe the pilot project is right now to hit around Yonge and Dundas. And if it's successful, they're going to continue on expanding it. So I'm assuming that the expansion is going to come towards Moss Park because it's a natural shift to go that way. So it all depends on how successful this program is going to be. But it's to be determined, to be seen. We certainly see the extreme amount of overdoses that we always see on a daily basis, and this is the reason why this response has been coming from the public health and also from our side to assist with them to help alleviate some of these issues because this has become more of a pandemic than anything else.
Okay, thank you. Is Ali around? After Ali is Samantha. Ali, are you around? No. Okay,
Ali
Samantha.
Al-Chanti?
Yeah.
They had their hand up earlier. They're muted right now. Ali, can you hear us?
Okay. Okay, Samantha, and then Miguel.
Okay, thank you. With Regent Park being such a diverse population, I work with the intellectual disabilities community. I was wondering if you guys have any officers that are like specialize in that.
That is a good question. We don't have anyone specifically that specializes in it. And by the way, thank you for what you do because it's
You guys are muted. Officer, you are muted.
Oh, hang on. Okay.
Oh, you're back.
Oh, okay, perfect. I can tell you that my wife is a forensic child interviewer, but she also is an interviewer for people with all kinds of different needs and challenges. So she can speak to people who, everything you can possibly imagine. If there's a difficulty in communicating or an intellectual issue, anything like that, she's the specialist in dealing with that. But other than that, I don't think we have anyone, at least not anyone I'm aware of at 51 that would specifically address that. What sorts of things were you looking for?
Just for like reporting, how that process would even look like, because majority of ours, they're independent enough to you know, to be out in community unsupported. But then when it comes to expressing themselves, if it was something to report, I was curious because I have encountered already the lack of sensitivity within officers within Regent Park that, you know, for that communication.
Yeah, it can be tough, especially if officers don't know what to do. Sometimes they do things that maybe aren't the appropriate way that you as a professional know are not the appropriate ways. But I think they come by it honestly. But I can.
Are you talking to me?
Okay. So my like I said, if they have any kind of issues like that communicating, they can set up an interview with the investigator. The investigator can contact my wife, who is a specialist, and then she can conduct the interview with them. And as I said, she is trained and she's up to date in all the whatever techniques are to speak with people of diverse needs.
I don't know what's going on.
If that was to ever happen.
Sarah Jane, can you mute yourself?
I'm actually muting her and she's unmuting herself every time, so I'm not sure what's going on.
I'm unmuting myself, and then I don't know why you're touching my mute.
Because somebody else is talking, so we're giving that person the opportunity to speak first.
Well, I don't know what's going on. Why am I involved?
Okay, so let me put you on mute and we'll figure it out. Okay, go ahead, guys.
So sorry, does that help answer your question a little bit, or is there?
It does. I was just asking though, in that case, could one of my employees support that person with you guys to do it?
Absolutely, especially for frontline officers, especially if they're like newer frontline officers who maybe are just learning the job itself, and then you throw an added wrinkle like that. Any help that you can give the officers in understanding what the needs of the victim are, we definitely appreciate that. There are circumstances where we need to speak with that person without witness or without somebody kind of like, but it sounds like what you're describing is a case where the officers would certainly benefit from it and probably appreciate having somebody who could, I don't know what the best term is, but say translate or assist the communication in some way. Yeah. So by all means, yes.
Thank you.
Sarah, do you have anything to say?
I thought somebody was talking privately to me about something that I had raised, and I didn't understand why I was involved in it. But I guess I wasn't.
Okay. Okay, Miguel.
Yes. Hi. Can you hear me?
Yes, Miguel, we can hear you.
Oh, wonderful. So, great community update on the shooting that happened last week. A bunch of us, we were meeting at 660 Dundas Street East at the UN Pavilion. And yeah, it brought back memories of the previous shootings in the community. And we were fearing for the worst. As a community, we are working hard to secure funding for our social development plan. I think that is one of the key elements that we are aiming to reduce youth violence and give them youth opportunities for employment. That is something that we should be pursuing as a community. I hear all the time, it takes a village to help a kid. So here we are, an opportunity next month in February to come to the city budget and request proper funding for our social development plan. I want to thank you to the two community officers for the work they're doing behind the scenes. That's very commendable. When it comes to micro mobility issues, such as you mentioned, e-scooters, it is something that really concerns me because I see a lot of news articles or new clippings that some youth has had serious accidents, and many of them, they were not wearing helmets. And that could lead into a permanent disability. I think we should be putting pressure either at the board or City Hall to ensure that there is a mandatory helmet when they are operating these e-scooters. That's all I can ask for this, for you guys, is to continue the education. I know you have a mandate to stop this, but I guess preserve our youth. Future is important, and helmets. If there is an inconvenience for helmets, we can raise funds. Maybe the Regent Park Safety Network can have a collective fundraising event and donate helmets in the community for those who cannot afford it. That's just an idea out of the box. Thank you.
Thank you, Miguel. I really appreciate it. Well said. And since you're very good at petitions, I'm saying why don't you champion this and start a petition because your voices are a lot louder than ours. And if we get that going, then we can. That's something that we can support it and make sure that gets enforced. Because right now there is no enforcement, even though they're all illegal and even though the kids supposed to have a helmet. But if we hear the voices from the public and we get that petition going, I'm sure something can be done. And because it is become a pandemic coming from Sick Kids Hospital with their stats that these kids are seriously getting hurt and something needs to be done. It just seems like this city is sort of in limbo and they're not sure exactly how they want to really action it. And coming from the law enforcement, from police side, we see it on a daily basis, including myself. And it's just, I'm in shock that we don't have even more injuries on the street because it's happening constantly. And the longer this goes, the worse it is for all of us because the education is completely lost in it. We cannot educate people anymore. We cannot enforce it. And then where our hands are sort of tied behind our back, and we definitely need the assistance from the public.
Thank you, Miguel. Ali El Chanti.
Hi.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
No.
Yes, we can hear you.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Ali.
Yeah, I just have little comment about youth. You know, the youth period is, it's it passes through many effects, family, social. I think this is a common problem, something which is about youth and why a young man, a young boy has a gun. This is something dangerous, and we should study about.
Ali, you cutting
Connection's
off. You cutting off.
No, he has a bad connection. I think
Yeah.
he's not on the Zoom anymore.
Oh, okay, okay.
Sorry, Ali. You can hear us still. All right. Listen, unfortunately, the time is getting late, and just received a message that we've asked the officers to be with us for an hour, and that hour is up. And they mentioned Sergeant Victor sent a message saying that CCRP might want to jump in, and so with respect to the time, it's already 20 to 7. Not sure if the constables can stay on, but is there anyone from CCRP or CSU who would like to jump in and to talk about this meeting or some of the events that we're talking about?
There is Olivia.
Hi, everyone.
Olivia Weeks. There we
Yeah,
go.
Olivia and myself are here. Hi, it's Stephanie Mazral. I'm back from leave, but also back just supporting the neighborhood as well. So nice to see some familiar faces. Sorry, we're reconnecting this way. Olivia's here as well. My understanding is she's been attending some RPSN meetings and getting to know the community. So very quickly, just hearing a couple of folks, and Miguel, yes, I was aware that SDP was meeting at the pavilion. So there are some residents who have reached out. who were impacted. We have also done on the ground outreach as a lot of the businesses along 660 as well as across the street were also impacted. We're still here. Olivia will put all of the team's contacts. Olivia, are you able to put all of our contacts, phone numbers in the chat? If anyone is still experiencing any impact tomorrow, next week, next month, months from now, with us, never hesitate to reach out. I am aware that the event was disturbing. And I'm mindful of what everyone was sharing of how that brings up a lot of memories. So we're here to support. The Community Crisis Response Fund is available if anyone's interested to apply for that to help with some more continuation of care, healing, dealing with any safety projects. So don't hesitate to reach out to any of us. I'll be in the community tomorrow. I've only been back for a month, but I'll be at the community center in the morning about 11:30. If anyone wants to meet, just come by. I'll probably be in a room upstairs. I have a meeting at 2, but I just wanted to let folks know I'm in the neighborhood tomorrow. So if you have my number, feel free to text, call, WhatsApp, if you need to meet in person to have a chat as well. And I do look forward to seeing everyone in person soon, hopefully. Thank you. Olivia, is there anything else you wanted to mention?
Other than that, we do have the Community Violence Wellness Recovery Project. So that is a project for folks that know that it sits under our belt for CCRP. So if there's any residents or community members or any young person who has expressed being concerned about their safety, feeling like, this incident has impacted their mind, their emotions, we're more than happy to facilitate that connection and get them connected to some counseling supports, maybe even like a healing debrief session or anything individually or as a group. We can always make those connections. And again, it's free, there's no cost. We also have culturally relevant supports should they wish to get connected to those as well. And I'm also just dropping everyone's contact in the chat for those who oversee the Central District. So that's myself, Stephanie, Kat Marhang, and also Abdi Fatah Hussein.
It's
And
only
once
Abdi's
again,
phone number here. Sorry, Stephanie.
Hi, yes.
Good to see you.
Hi, Soraya. Yes,
I know, but the phone number is only Abdi. Do you have?
I'm going to put myself in. Some of you may still have my number. Hajia had it. It's still the same one. So
I dropped
putting
it,
back
Stephanie.
in there. Yeah. Oh, there
I'm
it is.
dropping everyone's contact. So myself, you, Abdi, Kat, and that's the 4 of us for Central District.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Just to summarize, the CCRP is the Community Crisis Response Program, right? The Community Crisis Response Program. So you address issues even on an emergency basis for mental health and for anyone who feels possibly affected or impacted or traumatized even by events in the community. And the best way to reach you is to call you directly, Stephanie, or there's so many numbers I know on the website.
I'm so sorry, Leonard, to jump in. My apologies. I do want to clarify that because when people hear the word crisis in our name, I know automatically they think we're 911 or we're the first responders. I do want to clarify that unfortunately we are not first responders. We're usually the ones that connect to you guys after an incident happens. So think of us as more of like second or third. And usually, to be honest, we don't do like mental health. Like that's not our main focus. Our focus is gun violence. So stabbing, slashings, cross-community impact, swarmings, and also execution of major search warrants. So that's really within our mandate and scope. And we usually connect with folks after the incident occurs. In terms of more 24/7 mental health supports, that would be the Toronto Community Crisis Services, so TCCS. And I know sometimes people tend to confuse us because of our names and the similarities, but really we are more on the gun violence intervention and prevention. And then Toronto Community Crisis Services, they are more 24/7, and they do the mental health pieces around that. And Steph, sorry to cut you off. Go right ahead. My apologies.
No, that's an important clarification. Again, 211 is if anyone is experiencing a mental health crisis, any type of anything, 211 is a really great resource. And yes, we're here to support after a critical incident in the mandate, as many of you know, but also too, sometimes we're a point of contact, and when people, you can reach out if you're like, I don't know where to go for this. We will do our best to give you a contact for that. We tend to be that point person, to be fair. So, but yes, we're here. Yes, we're going to end that because everyone gave an hour of their time. Like I said, I'll be around in the community tomorrow, but feel free to reach out to anyone. I know folks know Olivia. I know the community members know Kat, and community members know Abdi. Whatever you feel comfortable with, please reach out. If you feel comfortable with me, please do so. But I do look forward to seeing everyone.
Where will you be?
Tomorrow I'm going to be at Regent Park Community Center. I do
402 Shooter
yeah,
Street.
so I'll be around about 11:30. Kevin Jeffers is going to get me a room. I have a meeting at 1, but I just wanted to let folks know I will be around. Olivia will be around later too as well. So feel free just to drop by if you need to, if an in-person convo is needed, absolutely. But text, call, WhatsApp, and yes, we'll go from there.
Thank you, Stephanie. Welcome back.
Okay. Well, it's now about 6:45. Just as a quick reminder regarding community safety, I know there are a lot of resources even on the TPS, the Toronto Police Services main webpage. Things like safety for seniors, safety for getting around in the winter, what to do if you're being carjacked yourself, to avoid being a victim, to avoid just safety initiatives. Can you speak about that, Sergeant Boyko or Farzad or Miercea, about how to stay safe over the holiday season?
I mean, it's probably getting into a long discussion, but I can tell you, for simple things, if you're worried about major events like a carjacking or something like that, I mean, they're obviously very rare events, but one thing I would say is it's not worth fighting for your property. It's just property, it's just stuff. It's not worth putting your life on the line for it. If somebody is robbing you or wants to take something from you, just give it to them. It's not worth giving your life for a phone or a wallet or whatever. It's almost 2025. There's lots of video available. Many of our incidents like this that used to happen where we weren't able to make arrests, that's not really the case anymore. And most of the time we're able to make an arrest because we find video somewhere and we're able to track them down. So I know it sucks but just practice the regular things you would normally do. Don't go places where you think you're not safe. Try and, walk with a friend, that kind of stuff. Don't leave valuables obvious in your vehicle. Don't leave any valuables in your vehicle. Just the regular common sense things. But the big one is, I think, like I said, just give your stuff up. If someone wants to take it, let them have it. You can replace those things, but you can't replace your life. You can't replace your health. And I'm sure your loved ones would rather have you back than you plus your phone. That's the option.
Yeah, and I can maybe just jump on that as well. We noticed on the streets, a lot of people are walking distracted. When I say by that is they have their headphones on and they're in their phone and they're not aware of their surroundings. And those are the easier targets for people to take advantage of. So we just always preach, you don't need to have necessarily your headphones or both headphones on, and pay attention to where you're going. There's always time to place. You can look at your phone, update yourself. But if you're on the move and your head is down and your headphones are on, it's an easier target for somebody to try to come from behind or when you're not aware. And just on top of that, I know we're coming to a Christmas time, and I said from the beginning, I'm not sure how many people were actually listening. We're really working very, very hard to have a nice little toy drive for our Regent Park kids. The date is December the 15th, which is a Sunday at Daniel Spectrum from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. We're trying our best to get as many toys as we possibly can so that we can distribute them to the most vulnerable kids that we have in our neighborhood. And it's going to be first come, first serve. I will have that flyer out. I'll give to Leonard and Felicia, and hopefully you can distribute it, and you can just talk amongst yourselves to get the word out there. We're hoping. I mean, I'm hoping that we get so many toys that we can give to every kid. But right now, as we speak, we have maybe about 300 toys right now. But we're hoping by next week we're going to have even more. So if there's anyone that can donate, then you can donate for us. They can drop it here at 51 Division. Our goal is to have about 500 toys for all the kids in the region.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you, Farzad. This is Felicia speaking. Felicia White from Toronto Community Housing. So myself and Leonard will communicate and I will connect with you. Okay, Farzad?
Yes, absolutely. As soon as we're done here, I'm going to go email all you guys.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
If you don't have any more questions, we'd like to end it here as we have some more work to do. And we thank you for your time. We appreciate it. And we're always open ears here. We're, like I said, we in this office here, we're solution based. We're here for you. That's the main thing. We are here for you. Without you, there's no us. So keep that in mind as we move forward. Have a safe coming week and holidays, and we hope to contact you soon again with more updates.
Thank you.
Have a good night, everyone. Take care. Bye.
Thank you for coming.
And
Short
yeah,
notice.
thank you for this. Thank you very much, Sergeant Boyko and Constable Miercea and Ghotbi. All the best.
Good night, everyone. Thank you.
Take care.
So Hajia, where does that leave us? I guess that was a worthwhile, difficult, but informative meeting.
Yeah,
I would say. So thanks to everyone who participated, and
have a rest, safe holiday, and everybody take care of each other. Yeah, let's take care of each other and look out for each other. Thank you, everybody, for coming.
Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also follow us on social media, and for more information, check out our website.